Now everybody knows this lady sitting next to me. It's Ruth Dugdall, who actually presents Goodbye 9 to 5. She has a secret life. She's actually rather a well-known author. I've known her for about 6 or 7 years, and when we first knew Ruth, she worked away at writing like Billy O. She was always working. She had organised her life around writing, and she seemed to be getting nowhere. Really did, didn't you?
Yes.
You had a book published, and
Yes.
it was quite successful in a small way. But then it all went quiet again, and I kept saying, "What's happening with? Oh well, this and that." But in fact, now in 2009, it's all started to happen. Tell us a little bit about what's actually gone on.
Yeah, well, I think it has started to happen. But what's interesting is I think that is what happens for all writers. That people talk about overnight successes, but actually everybody who makes it has been writing for years usually. And when I first told people I was a novelist, they used to say, "Oh, when have you got a book coming out then? And what's happening?" And then people just stop asking because they think that probably you're just making it up. And I've just kept on at it really. I'm quite tenacious. And when I'd made my mind up I was going to write, I decided I was going to do all I could. So I've kept plug-in publishers. I've got a great agent who's been approaching people. I enter lots of competitions. And suddenly, like buses, I've been waiting for ages for a publishing deal, and now I've got two novels have got a publishing deal for 2010, which is just amazing. That I mean, to get one was wonderful, and then the other one came along just a few weeks later. So 2010 is when it's going to happen finally, and I've got 2 books out there. So it's a really good feeling to find, but more than anything, I feel relieved that finally, I'm going to have a book out there in the world in print.
Right. The 2 books, tell us what they are.
Well, the first one is The Woman Before Me, and I wrote this, I started writing it the night I gave birth to my son, Eden, when the hormones were still rushing around my body, and I was thinking about that strange thing about having a baby and how vulnerable it makes you as a woman. And there was a baby that was poorly on the ward, and I was really feeling for that other mother. And I started to think about how awful it would be to lose a child. And really that's what triggered The Woman Before Me, because it's about a woman who does lose her child and becomes obsessed with another woman she meets in hospital and that woman's baby. And this other woman's baby unfortunately dies tragically, and the woman whose baby died is blamed for the death. So it's really about, did she kill this other baby, or is it all a horrendous mistake? And it's also about motherhood. And there's a lot of myself that went into that book. And it won the debut Dagger in 2005.
When is that actually coming out?
That will be out in the summer.
Right.
And then the second novel, which is, there's a probation officer character in both novels. And so that's one of her cases. And the second novel is her next case, because I was a probation officer for 10 years. So it's natural that I would write about things I know, and that I would draw on this probation character. And her second case is a woman who advertises for a man on the internet because she wants to kill him. And this is triggered by the German case, Armin Mewis, who advertised on the internet for somebody to kill. And I came across the story and it got me thinking, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody want to die? Would it be like euthanasia? Is it because they're ill? Is it because they're depressed? And it was in exploring that question and actually doing the research and finding out there are quite a lot of people who do not just kill loved ones, but there are people who will advertise on the internet for somebody to help them to die. And it's really that question of, is that somebody's right or isn't it? And of course the probation officer is grappling with those questions too. So it's very different from The Woman Before Me, because The Woman Before Me was about my experience as a mother really, whereas The Sacrificial Man is much more a kind of intellectual exploration of an idea. I've never come across anybody who's actually done anything like that. So I felt a step removed from it, but I think it's more of a thriller. Whereas perhaps the first novel is more sort of psychological, but they work together. So yeah, that will be out about 3 months after The Woman Before Me.
The fame.
Yeah.
Why are there 2 publishers involved? Tell me a little bit. Why is that going to be a problem for you?
Do you know, if I'd got a deal with a big publisher, I think it would be a problem, because I think they wouldn't want to work together. But what happened was I sent The Sacrificial Man to Solidus Press, who are a lovely small publisher. It's run by a woman, Helen Miles, and she just fell in love with the book and said, I really think this deserves to be read. So she offered me the contract for The Sacrificial Man. At around the same time, I entered the Luke Bitmead competition with The Woman Before Me. So when I heard I'd won, I was actually, when I heard I was shortlisted, I was a bit worried. So I contacted both Helen and Legend Press and said, is there going to be a problem here that I could potentially have 2 books out with 2 publishers? And they both said, not a problem, we would work together. And I've just had an email to say they're in conversation. They've agreed to work together. We're going to do joint signings. They're going to do similar covers so they complement each other. So that it's going to be a collaboration, which is the beauty of small businesses, really. Because I think the big publishers just wouldn't want to work together like that. So it's worked out really well, and I'm so chuffed. And everybody involved seems so nice. You know, just wants the best for the books and to give them the best chance they have of getting out there.
I mean, what happens next? What are you going to do next? Are you working on another project now?
Of course. Yeah, I'm writing my 5th novel, which at the moment is called Family Snap, though I might change the title because my other books have got The Woman Before Me, The Sacrificial Man. So I'm thinking this might be The Revenge of the Daughter, or The Girl Who, something or other. Anyway, but at the moment it's called Family Snap, and that's about a 15-year-old girl whose mother was attacked when she was 12 and left brain damaged. The police are closing the case. They've got no information. There's nothing they can do. So Sam, the 15-year-old, has decided she's going to find the man who attacked her mum, and she's going to kill him. So it's a revenge story. It's also a coming-of-age story. And again, it's triggered by a real event, a real case where a mother was attacked and left brain damage, and the daughter decided to do something about that. And obviously it's then fictionalised by me, sort of thinking, what if? And I'm on an apprenticeship scheme, which I was really lucky to get. I'm working with Laura Wilson, who's a really wonderful crime writer, and this book should be finished in October.
Does this one include your same character, your probation officer character?
No, because I decided not to introduce her into this one because the mother, who's brain damaged, is in a hospital. It's actually introduced as a psychiatrist. Right. And he is in The Sacrificial Man and The Woman Before Me. So he's the common thread rather than the probation officer. So
do we see you turning into another Patricia Cornwall?
Yeah, maybe. I'm certainly going to keep going. Right. I'm certainly going to keep going.
And you'll keep with Goodbye 9 to 5?
Of course.
Excellent. Now, the thing we'd like to do is to get you onto the forum and maybe to lead a section for writing. Would you do that for us?
I'd be happy to. I mean, I think the important thing with writers is we should encourage each other. It's a really lonely thing to do because you're just on your own with whatever's inside your head and a pen and paper or a computer. And I think writers should support each other. I run a writers group, I attend 2 more, I run a book group. You know, I'm always going on writers courses to talk or as a participant to learn. And I'm always happy to hear from people who want to write, to give any advice I can, and to also take feedback on my writing. So if anybody wants to get in touch with me or to visit my blog, they'd be very welcome.
So, don't forget, Ruth has got 2 books out next year. That's The Sacrificial Man and The Woman Before Me. They're published during the summer and autumn of 2010.